Okay, your hand's the palest, or been up longest.
On the subject of having Ensign be a delegate, I was in CD1. You made a motion to allow him to be on the ballot. Why did you do that instead of nominating him? Were you aware that he was not allowed to by the previous rules?
Someone said, wait a minute, Ensign is not here, he can't stand for election.
Right, because at a central committee meeting, the way I understand it, I was there, I interpret it this way. It was anyone who was going to be a delegate to go on to the next convention had to be present. We had to choose our delegates from the existing pool of delegates at the convention we're attending.
At the county convention?
Well, this is a central committee meeting that we attended prior to the
Clark County Central Committee or State Central Committee?
December
The one out in Henderson.
All right, Clark County Central Committee.
There was a vote taken. In fact, it was taken for a slightly different reason. We wanted to make sure that all delegates that go on to the next convention had to be chosen from a pool of those at that convention. And my contention is, if you did not know that rule existed, why didn't you just nominate Henson instead of saying, I make a motion, we make a new rule to allow Henson?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Why didn't you nominate him?
Is there technically a difference? Would he have not been nominated either way?
Because he's making a new rule for someone. For instance, if there's a rule that says you can't have anybody speaking through a school zone, it applies to everybody. You don't make new rules that say it doesn't apply to John Ensign. We're going to make a new rule that allows John Ensign to forget the school ticket, or in this case, to be a delegate, even though he's not present, which was the existing rule.
I'm going to try to answer that for you. The county convention rules do not run the state convention. The fact that we could not appoint delegates to the county convention, we could not appoint delegates from the county to the state convention who were not at the county convention, did not preclude the state convention from nominating as a national delegate someone who wasn't there, unless someone has a section of the state convention rules that says that, or the bylaws, or the RNC bylaws.
And my question is this: why was it, Mr. Beer, that you simply just did not nominate him? Why did you say, let's make a motion to allow Ensign to be on the ballot?
I didn't then, and I don't see a big distinction.
Lisa Marie, you have a comment on that?
I do. Regardless of what the rule may have been, Chairman Mears did make the motion, and I was in the room, and unfortunately I was the fourth person on that list. I would have been the next on the defense committee. And I do
Apparently not.
Well,
That's now theoretical.
okay, so whatever, theoretically, I would have been the next person. And I do have to say that when he did the ayes versus nays, there was only 3 nays in the room. So people did agree. So you're fighting over a technicality, it doesn't really matter.
The convention,
And we do have, by the way, an exception, a emergency vehicle with lights and siren going can speed through a school zone.
We don't make those over courses. We do that for.
I understand your concern. I don't know what we can do about that now. As a matter of fact, when we all get unelected from these positions, so does Senator Ensign. God help him when he has to run again, and how unsuccessful he's been.
I was the one who poorly wrote the change to Rule 2.9, and in it I did say people can be nominated from the floor. There was nothing that said they had to be there.
So, and that was the second of 2 changes to 2.9. The first was not generated by you guys, that was Mike Weber. Right. And it was that specific component that we were engaged in when we did this.
Okay, back of the room.
What would be the reason to not reconvene?
The concern, well, everyone's got a different set of concerns. Mine are, we don't pull the quorum together, and then we can't reconvene. And then it's a little mushy if the RNC picks our delegates or if the state executive committee picks the delegates. I'd rather see, because my goal here, as I stated, is to see you people continue to be involved in the Nevada Republican Party for the next 15 or 20 or 30 years. I believe the best likelihood of achieving that is a transparent, fair election taking place. And my concern is that we physically cannot do that, reconvening physically, but we could do that with a mail-in process that had monitoring by both sides, and there are ways that this can be constructed.
I'd like to be real clear on that for the senator. We will all be there. If the McCain people don't want to show up, that's not what you shouldn't be driving this bus.
And I don't think you'd be happy with the outcome if we couldn't get a quorum together.
That's true.
We have a party in Reno. Did you see that place? It's great. Okay.
We'll be at the school this time, though.
James.
Mr. Beers,
Yes.
when did you realize that we were going to go into recess? Why did you not give us more notice until the end?
Good question, which is a whole bunch of other questions about going into recess. First of all, let's tackle, is it allowed? And the answer is, according to our parliamentarian, yes. An adjournment requires a vote. A recess does not. Roberts is silent on the duration of a recess. It somewhat implies that it will be of short term, but within an hour of the recess, there was a failure to have a quorum. It's gray enough. It's certainly not cut and dry. So the party believes that it's legitimate.
So that's why he came back.
Now, wait a minute, there's more, hands down, because I got more to talk about. To your question, why? At that point in time, the rural congressional district, which now had 2 duplicate count teams, because the John Porter group was sent over there when they got done, was not halfway, did not appear, was halfway through counting their ballots, with 3 people per ballot. What was to come was a count of ballots with 22 people on it. Not 3 of 25, but 22 of probably 300. There was concern that that was a multi-day operation. Certainly, if it had been the way we were doing it in the rural district, it would have been a multi-day operation.
You obviously don't understand the process.
Hold on, please.
As well, we didn't have a ballot because at just about 6 o'clock, the convention secretary and the regular party secretary had just completed compiling all of these self-nominees into a spreadsheet. They had not yet attempted to remove people who were on both the self-nomination list and the nominations committee's list. There was definitely some duplication there. And so until that happened, we couldn't produce a ballot.